Welcome everybody, this is week 5, so a little bit ahead of time. Action between myself at the bottom of the screen and John Harmon at the top. This is a bit of a brew that I've been playing. I play this rig, this is my main arena deck, MTG arena deck. It's mono black control. Standard, I'm not that into standard, so I just kind of like to play around with different things. I've tried a few different decks. And it looks like I'm hoping I'm up against mono green. So I cycled Razaketh's Right. This is a pretty cool card. It's a 5-mana tutor. The reason I play this over Mastermind's Acquisition is if I know the deck I'm up against and it's not a combo deck or it doesn't rely on any specific card, then I can just cycle it away. But here, I'm playing Murder. I've been trying Cast Down. I think it's called the 2-mana, but I find Murder is actually better. I play 2 of them. I'm lucky enough to draw both at this stage. Gonti, which is an awesome control card. You can see John's on 10 points, I'm on 26. So I'm trying to keep pace with the leaders. I've had a couple of bad weeks where I think I lost to Oliver 2-1 and then I lost to Lorenzo 2-1, and those are 2 of the leaders. So chances of me making finals outside of a wildcard spot is remote. I think it's only wildcard up for grabs. Now for John, I think his finals is a bit too far. He's probably playing now to keep his Division 1 place. Keep in mind that Division 1 is your division seedings are determined by your previous two total scores. Here's a seal away. This is what I stole with Bonte, so I'm going to take his Rishka. At this stage, I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? Because I have seen no evidence of white mana. Why is he playing seal away? I thought I was up against mono green, and so he plays out the Thrashing Brontodon. I don't really mind this because I've got Death Touch on Bonte, so he can't do any damage with that Brontodon. And if he uses the Brontodon to kill the seal away, it's essentially all he's done is traded a Brontodon for the Gonti trigger, which I don't mind at all. I just get in here because I'm going to and this was a bit of an unusual. Oh no, sorry, forget that. He's got a Sterling Gross. He's got a White Source. He's going to take Gonti. I think I've got 2 in my deck, so I don't really mind too much. At this stage, you can see he cannot put counters on Walking Ballista unless he uses the treasure. So Ballista is not a viable attack this turn. And now I'm going to force him to crack that seal away so that he'll get back Rishka. And then he's going to put a counter onto the Ballista, but I can kill the Ballista in response. So through all that, I only take 1 point of damage. You can see I've got the Never Return and the Vraska's Contempt in hand. I really don't want to use that because I feel that my top-end creatures are better than his, so if I can just hold out for a little bit of time, those 2 might come in handy against any huge threat or a Planeswalker he might have. I'm thinking of that. I don't know the name of it. It's like a 12/12 of trample, and you can use your other creatures to help pay for it. So Liliana is an awesome draw here because it's just going to, you can see there's only a Rishkar on the board, so I'm going to be able to chump block for days. The only problem here is that I've seen a Ixalan's Binding. I've got 2 Lilianas in my deck, so I really don't want to get my Liliana binded because now that I've seen the Castaway and the Ixalan's Binding, he's clearly on green-white and struggling for white mana, and enchantments are the worst for mono-black players. I have absolutely no way to deal with any enchantments. And this is bad news here. There's Walking Ballista. You can see how much mana he's got. So now I'm starting to think I need to use a Vraska's Contempt, but then I draw my Chupacabra. So again, what I do here, because Rishkar's not getting any better, she doesn't have trample, so I'm going to take down the Ballista while he's tapped out and can't add any more counters to it. He's going to respond and take down my Chupacabra. That's fine because it means he can direct a point of damage either at Liliana or myself, and so I'm not losing my Liliana. Even if he was to find a removal spell for my zombie next turn, he can only push through 3 points of damage, which wouldn't be enough. and then I can still hold up that Vraska's Contempt and protect it. But at this stage, because I've got Josu versus one of my win conditions, I need to get to 10 mana to be able to cast it, which is usually pretty easy to do if I hit my land drops. But at this stage, I'm struggling for land drops. So the thought of actually hard casting Josu as a 4/5 is starting to cross my mind. And now I'm pretty much locked into it because he didn't actually play a creature that turn. He's got 2 left, so I minus Liliana to get back the Chupacabra, and now I decide to play it out because it's an empty board. He's got 2 creatures, so I kind of want to get aggressive and get on the front foot. Also, Joseph versus got Menace, so he needs 2 creatures to even block, so I can start to put a real clock on him here. Merfolk Branchwalker, I don't care. That's easily outclassed. I don't actually like these explore creatures. All they really do is, particularly the branch walker, it's okay in that situation early in the game. It gets your land, but late in the game like that, it's like a big deal. All it does is reveal information. So I hold back the Ravenous Chupacabra here because I intend to take down the Ether Spear Harvester, but just in case he had some sort of a removal spell. Here's Shana. I quite like this card, but I don't think it's that good. Doesn't have trample or anything like that. So you can see here he plays the creature, so he's got 2 coming in. I'd be surprised if he swung the Branch Walker. At this stage, I quite like jumping with the Chupacabra because it's something that I can get back with Liliana to take care of future creatures. But I decided to jump with the zombie at this stage because I'm not I don't want to minus Liliana to 1 when I've seen Walking Ballistas. Once I see the Fatal Push, I think I'm pretty safe. 2-turn clock now. I've got a Chupacabra I can get back to remove a blocker, and I've got a Fatal Push. So I can Fatal Push him on this turn, and he can't. You can see he's out of cards, so he can't actually crew the Ether Sphere Harvester next turn. So he's dead now. So I think he suddenly realizes, and we are going to game 2. I had to mulligan to 6. I'm going to keep this because it's a pretty bad hand, but I think Dread Shade outclasses pretty much all of the creatures that I saw. And also, a lot of his removal that I've seen, I think he would be running 4 cast outs, the 2 mana one. So as long as I don't attack, I'm pretty safe. I've bought in Yahenni's Expertise. Like that's a one-off from the sideboard. Dread Shade's an interesting card. Often I don't play it until turn 4 if I'm playing a red deck, so I can pump it to a 4 power. And that's a bit of a down. I've seen that thrashing Brontodon. I didn't play the Dread Shade there because I'm hoping he's going to dump a few shitty cards that I can use to clean up with the Yahenni's Expertise, but he doesn't. He plays Khan. And at this stage, I can see he's revealed Lyra, so that kind of changes my plans a bit. Let's hear a massive beep, but I don't know what it is. Demon Lord Belzenlock is going to be an awesome draw. I don't expect him to stick around, but he's going to be card advantage here. So I had the choice there to activate Uggle's Bloodfast, but I decided to play the Dread Shade instead. This Khan, at this stage of the game, I don't really care too much about Khan. I've got 6 cards that can take it down. So here's a Thopter's Arrest. So this is the first sign of, damn, the removal's all coming out now. I've still got the Dread Shade you can see, but I'm 2 turns away from the Demon Lord. So as long as he can take down these Dread Shades, I'm hoping he's going to have nothing left. And so I've got him tapped out now, so I have to go for this Yahenni's Expertise to take down Brontodon, because I really want that Bloodfast to survive. So I'll play the Essence Extraction as a one-off from the sideboard as well. So I'll gain 3 life. You can see I'm back up to 15. Uggle's Bloodfast this card is just awesome because it's constant card draw. Normally I bring it out against green decks because they always play that Threshing Brontodon, but it's just awesome card draw. And then when you get down to 5, it just becomes a roadblock. Because I call this Black Control, but it's kind of like a mid-range deck. I played plenty of, I think 16 creatures, something like that. So now I can play out my Demon Lord and get some card advantage. He's got 2 cards left, but all I get for it's a Gifted Aetherborn. Demon Lord is just awesome when you hit 4 drops. Sometimes I think my best has been about 4 or 5 cards I've drawn from it. I don't want to give him the Brontodon, so that's 2 Brontodons gone. But he's got see, he just flashed another Brontodon. He's going to use the Thopter's Arrest to keep pushing damage. And I don't know why, but this was a bit peculiar part of the game. He chose to use Treasure Map, fine, but he could have played that Brontodon, but he decided to play the Elves instead. I'm thinking he doesn't want to tap out with Brontodon, that he must have learned his lesson last time. I hold up Hour of Glory because and Baffling End is a really good card. So he's got 2 cards left, and one of them is a Brontodon. And I really don't want my Argos Bloodfast to die, but if it's going to die, I can at least draw 2 cards here. And the problem here with Treasure Map, you can see one of my win cons there is Torment of Hailfire. Really bad against this deck when it's got so many things on the board. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to draw cards because I want to go to 5. I want to get 5 life so that I can flip the Argos Bloodfast if he doesn't play the Brontodon. He doesn't play the Brontodon, so that's a huge win for me. I get to flip the Bloodfast. You can see he's got 7-8 power on the board, but I've got plenty of removal. And so um, now his enchantments will do nothing against my creatures as long as I keep up that tempo. The issue for him here as well is if he cracks those treasure tokens, he's going to lose power from his construct. But this was he forced my hand here. He got back Ixalan's Binding with Khan, and so he's going to try and bind my Dreadshade, so I'm forced into sacking it. So I go back up to 8 life. Now I think there's a misplay there swinging with the Cisse. I suspect he didn't read the Dreadshade, so he doesn't know what the card can do, so I can just pump it to 1. The other thing I'm thinking is Blossoming Defense, but I have to block anyway, because if he's got the Blossoming Defense, I'm just dead if I don't block. And so Noxious Gearhulk is an awesome pickup here. It's going to gain me 4 life. As you can see, I'm starting to claw my way back in the life totals. I'll gain 4 life by killing the construct. Now I'm thinking, I haven't seen that removal that gets tapped creatures yet, but I have to kind of get on the front foot, particularly when my temple is untapped. But I don't think he's got it because he would have taken down the Dreadshade. I'm surprised he still wants to keep that Llanowar Elves around. It was a bit surprising. And here's a Thrashing Brontodon. And so this time the Brontodon's going to get some work done. It's going to take down my Gearhulk, which is a artifact, so I can sack it and get 4 life in response. And you can see he got me down to about 3 or 4 life. I'm back up to 12. And so what I'm in the market for now is a Liliana. I think if I can find Liliana, I can win this match. I'm holding Hour of Glory because I think I can beat all of these things except for a Lair Dawnbringer, which you can bring back with Khan. Torment of Hellfire can also win me the game here if I can hit Cabal Stronghold. This one here was a real surprise. He didn't block to protect his Khan, so he lost Khan. That really did surprise me. So Torment of Hailfire, if I can hit Cabal Stronghold, I think I can win. So there's a seal away. So now he's going to target my Dreadshade. That must have been his draw for the turn, otherwise he would have used it to protect Khan. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to tap as low as I can go with still being able to play Hour of Glory and get the life gain. So you can see I've pumped my Dreadshade up to about a 7 power, then I sack it, get 7 life. So after all that, I'm back up to 19. But this was the start of a pretty bad period. I land flood really badly. Like a second, I'm pretty sure I sided out one of my Argyl's Bloodfast, so I don't have another form of card draw. So it's a 4-turn clock, so it's a real clock here. And this kind of forced my hand here because the Ballista, you can see he's got 2, 4, 6, 8. He's got access to 10 mana, so he can start putting 2 counters a turn on that thing. So I'm going to fire off the... That's actually a misplay. Oh no, I took down Khan, sorry, yeah. I'm going to be forced to fire off the Hour of Glory here to try and take down the Ballista. Because otherwise it's a 2-turn clock. I only have one Yahenni's expertise, so I don't have any sweeper to get me out of this. As I drop to 7 now. The pressure just keeps piling on. So I need a creature basically, or a Liliana, or I'm dead here. This time I'm going to take down, I'm going to Hour of Glory the Ballista, because Ballista will just win the game. But I think that's a bit of a misplay from him there. He didn't add a counter to the Ballista before I cast that. So at this stage I'm thinking he's got some sort of a something else to do with his mana. I'm not sure what. So here I've got no out, so I'm just flat out dead on board. I can take down Shana, but the other creatures also um, lethal. So this is a Hail Mary, my Torment of Hailfire. This is a massive misplay from John. Because you can see I tormented for 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I tormented for 7. He could have just taken, say, 18 points of damage and then sacked something that not worth it, like even just one creature. But for some reason he decides to go and sack all his creatures instead. Like if I had a Cabal Stronghold, it would have been awesome. It would have forced him to sack some of those enchantments so I could get back some creatures. So he sacked, and even then he sacks the Shana and keeps the Branch Walker, which didn't really make sense to me either. And then he decides to take the life. So the Branch Walker is going to be lethal. I can take that down anyway. Now he's got a second Branch Walker. I can take the hit from the first one and then block the second one on the next turn. I don't need to use the Fatal Push. I can wait to see what I'm going to get. But as soon as he plays out this Ether Sphere Harvester, I have to kill the Branch Walker now, because otherwise this Branch Walker would put me to 3 and the Harvester would finish me off next turn. So I kill this Branch Walker. It means that he has to tap the other Branch Walker to equip the Harvester, so I've got 2 turns. I've got 2 turns to find something. But the Ballista, 2, 4, I think that's for about 3. I need a miracle. I don't even know what can get me out of this now. Field of Ruin doesn't do it, so we're going to go to game 3. John takes game 2. See, I've got Sorcerer's Spyglass. So what I did in this match, I sided out my Walking Ballistas, and I brought in Sorcerer's Spyglass with the intent of naming Ballista or Khan, depending on what he resolved. But you can see there, you look at his hand, he's got nothing going on. Plenty of land, so I don't bother about that land or elf. Like, normally I'd like to Fatal Push it, but I wouldn't bother in that situation. I'm just going to keep that Spyglass until I know what I want to use it on. Again, Rishguard, I don't really care too much because Gifted Aetherborn's got Death Touch. So now I'm in the market for 5 mana now that I've found Liliana. Dreadshade's going to check Llanowar Elves, so only Rishkar can get through, but I'm actually getting life from Gifted Aetherborn, so Rishkar is effectively only pushing 1 point of damage. At this stage, I'm kind of thinking when I see his hand, I'm going to change gears, and it could become a race here. Now, what happened here? This is some sort of problem with the program. He wants to attack with Rishkar. I don't know what the hell is going on. He can't attack. It's pretty obvious what he's doing. So I have no intention of blocking. I'm not trading my Dreadshade for a Rishkar. So we agreed that subtract 3 points of life. So I'm at 20. I'm at 19. So he effectively has to get me to 3 life to kill me. So this is just playing around the bug. This is John just queried, is this allowed in the league? This is 100% allowed in the league. It's a bug with X-Mage. This wouldn't happen in paper. Like, you're not going to be retarded and go, oh, I'm trying to tap my Ishkar, but I can't. In paper, of course, you're going to tap it and swing. So what the ruling here that we decided, I mean, that's the way to play around this, is I subtract 3, and now Rishkar can't block this turn because we assume he's tapped. Field of Ruin is not the card I want to see there. The 4th Swamp would have been awesome for Dreadshade, because now I can't pump my Dreadshade. But you look at the life totals, down to 13. So this is absolutely a race. I think the thing that's winning me this race is the Gifted Aetherborn with its lifelink. But I am 1 land away from the Liliana. I think once Liliana hits the board, he's going to struggle to beat me. But Murder is an awesome pickup. And you can see here, I've actually got lethal on board once I pump that Dreadshade. So he's got to hold back some blockers here. He's going to hold back 2 Llanowar Elves. I'm still winning the race here. But then he goes and taps out for Lyra. So that's the game, because I can just cast Murder on Lyra and then boost my Dreadshade next turn. So I'm going to take down standard 2 games to 1. And we go on to Modern. This is a deck I was just playing for fun during the week. I think I was testing with Nathan Blewett. It's this blue-black living end as foretold. I don't know what the exact name of it is. Temple of Malice. The only deck I know is that plays Temple of Malice is, I take his Collective Brutality here. Is red-black, I don't know what the name is, Goryos Vengeance type deck. So I'm pretty confident of beating this deck because it's kind of a glass cannon deck. It can't really do anything if it doesn't have, if you can't resolve the Goryos Vengeance, it can't really do much. This one here was an interesting one. He took my living end. I was a bit surprised. I think because he needs to resolve a spell, and I just cycle into another one anyway. Yeah, he needs to resolve a spell, and you can see I've got 2 counter spells. So I know that he doesn't have any more Thought Seizers, Collective Brutalities, or Inquisitions in his hand. So he's got no hope of resolving his spell at this stage. And I'm kind of wanting him to play something here so that I can remind it and get a cycle going. So you can see I'm faltering on the board. Collective Brutality is an interesting one. Based upon what he did last time, I think he's going to take my living end again. And he's discarding Emrakul, so he's going to shuffle his grave. And there's the Goryos Vengeance, and that was really nice. So now do I want to remand or play the safe way and disallow? I'm going to go for disallow because if he could somehow find a Thoughtseize and then he would take my my counterspell next turn. So I can't afford for that to happen. He takes my living end again. Now I'm in a really weak position. See, if he played his Goryos Vengeance this turn, I'd just be flat out dead. And this is not nice. My Fatal Push is utterly useless in this deck. And I had a fetch, so I can fetch and get to use my push. I should have fetched a black source there because now I get a look at what's going on. Get rid of. He's only got an Emrakul in hand. I'm still dead to a Goryos Vengeance here. Tormenting Voice. I'm tempted to cycle this Remand here, and that's what I do. So I'm just looking for something. Mana Leak's a good pickup because you can see he's only on 4 mana. So I'm covered to beat. I'm gonna get rid of Sarkhan because it's one way to put things in the grave. I don't want to put in discarding stuff. Because if he has a Goryos Vengeance, I know he's got an Emrakul. If he gets a Goryos Vengeance, he doesn't. He has no way of playing the Emrakul into the graveyard at this stage. I'm out of cards, you can see. So now, what I put the Thoughtseize on top because he's got nothing to Thoughtseize. The play that he could have come up with here, he draws a Tormenting Voice out, which is kind of annoying. So he draws those cards. And so now I know he can resolve the Goryos Vengeance. I was actually dead there because he could next turn he can Faithless Looting, discarding the Emrakul and then play Goryos Vengeance. But I top decked that Cryptic Command, which was massive. I don't know why I didn't go for it there when I only had one card. It was a bit surprising. And the Architects of Will beatdown begins. So now he goes for the Faithless Looting. I think this was a bit of a misplay from him because even though I had the Cryptic Command and I had it covered, well, I don't. Perhaps something happened to other Emrakul. I'm not sure, but he could have hit it right there. Now Bloodghast can't block, so I'm going to win this race, and I'm just reloading my hand big time. I don't want to play this as foretold out yet because I need to hold up Cryptic Command because I'm still just dead if he finds the pieces. Basically playing against this red-black Vengeance deck. He's going to flashback Faithless Looting here, but you can see he's going to be tapped out. You don't have to do anything against the deck except wait for him to play Goryos Vengeance and counter it. He can do all the other things he wants. It doesn't make a difference. The only other card I'm wary of here is Through the Breach. Now he needs 5 mana to play that. So I go for the As Foretold this time because I can play Cryptic. Lightning Axe here doesn't matter because I'm just going to get it back once I get the Living End anyway. And I think he'll take those Lightning Axes out because you don't really want to be putting cards in my graveyard. I think I've got this match covered now, this game covered, sorry, so I'm thinking about sideboarding. In red-black, I expect he's probably going to bring in a whole heap of Leyline of the Void. I'm trying out some spicy sideboard tech. I've got Drake Haven in my sideboard. So I'm going to Drake Haven. There's a Talaria West so I can transmute for the Living End. But this just shows up my noobiness with this deck. I cycle and then I thought I could transmute with Gift of Phantasm, but it turns out it costs 3, so I can only transmute for 3. That was a misplay, so I'm going to have to win the game on the next turn instead. Yeah, I bring in Drake Havens from the sideboard so I can keep cycling and making Drakes as an alternate win condition. I'm looking at his, what's he going to get back? The really cool thing with this is that I can transmute, I can find my Living End by just transmuting So I don't even have to have it in my hand. So it kind of, he couldn't take Talaria West from me with a Thoughtseize or anything like that. So it's very safe to play this here. He's got a fetch land. Again, this is a misplay on the neediness of this deck. I actually Architects of Will him when he's got a fetch land. What I should have done is Architects of Will myself, especially if one of them, when there's three triggers, I could have fixed my own draws. But it doesn't really matter. I don't expect the next draw to have much to do anyway. Sure, you can get a Sarkhan. Again, it's the same principle here. Just let him do whatever he wants and just counter the Goryos Vengeance. See, even if he has a Thoughtseize here, because he's played a land for the turn, I could just, in response to the Thoughtseize, just Cryptic and bounce one of his lands. Although he'd float the mana, I think. So yeah, that's not really a viable option. So yeah, if he had Thoughtseize backed up with Goryos Vengeance, then he could win. Apologies for the noise. They're spraying for mosquitoes here. He knows I got that disallow, so that's a Hail Mary, that play. We're going to game two. 2 Leyline and Avoids is nice, but I don't have any lands in that hand, so I mulligan aggressively because I at least want some sort of Leyline. I found it quite funny he bought in Leyline of Sanctity because I think I've only got 2 Inquisitions in my main, which I take out in the sideboard, so those are doing nothing. So now I'm thinking he's got Thoughtseize, Inquisition, and Collective Brutality, which are all going to be useless cards for him. Particularly because red-black has no way to get rid of enchantments. So the other thing I'm thinking of here is he can't use Collective Brutality to discard unless he wants to Brutality himself. But Bitter Blossom I don't really worry about. I thought it was I don't know if that's standard for the deck or if he's just bought that in, but it's quite an interesting play. But I don't really mind Bitter Blossom too much because I'm only winning this game if I cast a Living End, and it's just going to bounce all his rogues that have done damage to him anyway. There's my 3rd land. That's what I was after. I'm just kind of playing to my, like if he's got some way to get Emrakul, I'm just dead here. So I have to play as if he doesn't. So he's just flashed a Collective Brutality. I think he remembers he can't Brutality me. That sound only lasts for about 2 minutes max. They spray some sort of gas, or Singapore and Southeast Asia has a massive dengue problem, so the government sprays this kind of gassy stuff that kills all the mosquitoes. They come and do it once a week. So here's my Drake Haven. I'm not going to cycle Architects of Will this turn. Next turn I'm getting my Ancestral Pigeon, so I'm going to start going to work with Drake Haven. You see Sarkhan's building up. I think his ultimate is at 7. Again, the ultimate, I don't really care. I think he can't ultimate Sarkhan in this match because, I mean, he can. If he ultimates Sarkhan, he has to win on the next turn. But he'd be hoping that I don't have a Living End because it's just going to bounce all his dragons. And he can't really protect it because he can't Thoughtseize me. I've got 4 Leyline of the Voids that I bring in, but you can see I'm not hitting any of them. Not really sure why I cycled this main phase, sorry. Maybe just flexing my muscles, showing him what I can do. You can see Mana Leap there. The odd thing that he has with this deck, Goryos Vengeance and Red Black, is that he can't just Vengeance for 2 because he needs to get the Emrakul in, so he needs to spend some mana some way to get the Emrakul in there. That's why Sarkhan is so dangerous. He can just plus Sarkhan to get it in there. Now this one was out of left field. Wasn't expecting a steering bridge, so I absolutely have to counter that. I don't think I can win because I have 3 cryptic commands, I side out 2 of them, so I'd have to top deck a cryptic command, my 1 copy of cryptic command to win. You can see the board state that he's got going on. I just counter that Collective Brutality just so that I can cycle and protect my Drake. Just 2 points of damage saved there. I'll trade with the Simian Spirit Guide. I'm quite happy to do that because I'd expect to just keep making Drakes every turn. But you can see I've only got one cycling card, which is a bit disappointing. Now I've got two. And I found my Living End. So now the question is, I can actually cast a Living End if I wanted to. I play a second as foretold through this first as foretold, so I can still play that. But I kind of want to get greedy here. I'm hoping he's going to ultimate Sarkhan, because what I do here is which he does. So there's this dragon. So this has worked out perfectly for me. The reason I do that is because if I played my Living End, I would have got all my creatures back, but the next turn he would have got the 4 dragons anyway, which would block my creatures. So I had to wait a turn. And so next turn here, I'm just going to do a bit more cycling, I'm hoping. I don't want to pay because what's the point? It's just going to get bounced off. I find a second Architects of Will. So I'm just going to hopefully go on a roll here and just keep cycling again and again, but my cycling luck runs out. So now we'll Living End, get rid of his entire board. And you can see he's left with a Bloodghast and a Spirit Guide. Now, this time, this is where I discovered the rule, because I can't Architect of Will him, so I have to do myself. So I leave you can see 3 lands there. I don't even want to get the fetch land. I put the fetch land on top, but I intend to Ghost Quarter myself, just to shuffle away those 3 lands. Again, he's flashed Collective Brutality, so that I know that's his last card in hand, so he's just got nothing going on. So again, I can get just swinging. This is actually a lethal attack because Bloodghast can't block. We took a few seconds to work this one out, but when we did, it's lethal. So I take down Modern 2 games to 0. Yeah, he's a bit because he asked me why can't I block Architects. I think he forgot about Bloodghast, but I think he could have blocked Stripe Riverwinder anyway. But it makes no difference. It's exactly 14 points of damage on board, so that's lethal. On to Legacy now, and this is what I call the Tyler Adams special, because Tyler hates this deck because it's one-sided. And what you're seeing right now, I'm back to my standard red-black Reanimator. What I've got in hand right now is a turn 1 kill, providing he doesn't have a counterspell. Now, he didn't play anything on turn 1, so I'm confused as hell. I'm thinking, has he got that dredge deck, which I don't really understand. So I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to Entomb here. Entomb a Grizzlebrand. That's like the standard start. Exhume my Grizzlebrand. And once that's down, I'm thinking, yep, game 1. This is a turn 1 kill. I'm going to put a second card in the Sire of Insanity into the grave by unmasking myself, using Reanimate through the Lotus Petal to get Sire of Insanity. So that's 13 damage on the board on turn 1. So we both shuffle away our hands, and so I take game 1 in about 10 seconds. Game 2, again, I've got this one here. I kind of have to get aggressive and shuffle it away. This one's a keeper. I can go off again on turn 2. So I reveal Chancellor of the Annex. I got no idea what he's on, so I couldn't really sideboard properly. This time he plays a Flooded Strand, so obviously he's not on that Dredge deck. Manaless Dredge. He plays a Thoughtseize, but Chancellor's going to counter that. So now I'm thinking some sort of blue-black control. So what I have to do here is just be a bit more careful. I play a Lotus Petal first to play around Daze, and I played a basic Swamp to play around Wasteland. I use Collective Brutality. We'll have a look at what's going on. So I can discard my Chancellor. You can see he's got a Dark Ritual and a Daze, so I don't know what he's doing. So I get rid of the Dark Ritual, because once you know about Daze, you can play around it quite easily. And I play out my Chancellor. So it's not the best card to play out, but he's got nothing going on except a Daze. Now he's got a Brainstorm, so Chancellor's going to tax his spells. So I know Brainstorm was his draw for the turn, but he's going to have another card that I don't know about. It's a clock, it's 5 points of damage. I'd certainly like something else, but I don't have it. So now I'm going to Faithless Looting. This is kind of risky. Pack Rat and Grizzleman. I bought in 2 Pack Rats from the sideboard, just in case he bought in some sort of Graveyard Hate. I mean, every deck in Legacy plays Graveyard Hate. But I think he's just got nothing going on here. My Chancellor also has Flying, so once he plays a Watery Grave, I know he's on the... Now, I can't play Dark Ritual because of Daze, but he's going to concede here anyway. Because he can't beat the Flying creature, I take down the Legacy.